Hello. I believe I said that I would also contribute my math autobiography to the discussion. So my name is Lori Geller. I am originally from Westerville, Ohio, where I grew up, but I've been out in the North Dakota and Montana area since 1990. Finished my undergraduate here at Minot State, went to University of North Dakota for my master's degree in mathematics, and then went to Montana State out in Bozeman, Montana for my EDD and higher education academics. Started out as a PhD in math education, but it was almost all math and very little education, and I had kind of got the teaching bug when I was a graduate student. So I switched over after a year and kept a concentration in mathematics education. I currently teach here at Minot State, still a little bit, as you can tell. I'm teaching this class. I've taught a number of courses from college algebra to calculus to history of math. Love to teach statistics introductory as well as the 400 level ones that include some calculus. Taught many graduate courses, research, the Calc for Teachers class, Stats for Teachers class, math for elementary teachers. I've also taught first year seminars, so just kind of a wide range of kind of whatever the department needed. But statistics is probably one of my favorites to teach because I love the application. So that is coming in the spring. Let's see. I've taught when I guess my first teaching was in 1996 when I was a graduate student at University of North Dakota, and I was a teaching assistant all the way through until I started this position here in 2002. So I was in the Department of Mathematics in 2002. I also served as an honors director for 3 years. Was the chair over in the math department for 4 different years. I've also been our director for our first year experience on campus, and I've been in this position as the vice president for academic affairs since summer of 2016. So I'm in my 5th year of doing this. Let's see, my first memory of doing math. Probably as a second grade. I had to think about that one. Sorry, I didn't take notes beforehand. My bad. Second grade, I remember not being able to figure out how to add numbers in which you had to, quote, carry or borrow. And was having a terrible time with that until my mother helped me, and she helped explain it to me, and then it made way more sense. And so that would be my first memory. Good and bad experiences, that was probably not such a good one. But I typically had pretty good math experiences. I loved math. It was the homework that I did when I came home. It's something about solving that puzzle or those problems every single time and getting to the end and having an answer. And then sometimes looking in the back of the book and being like, yes, I got it. And then other times looking in the back of the book and being like, crap. It's starting all over again. So there was something about that. There was also something about being okay with not understanding sometimes. And so in order to be a good math student, I think you need to be okay with the struggle. And we talk about that in some of those mathematics practices as well. Those were, I had good math teachers, I think, for the most part. I took algebra in 8th grade, and that was a little bit tough. I don't know if I was not quite where I should have been. Loved my geometry teacher, loved geometry. Loved my Algebra 2 teacher, Mrs. Volpe. Took calculus my senior year of high school with a guy that learned all of his math in the Navy, and he was an older gentleman. But then I got to take calculus again when I went to college. I took a placement test, and down at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, was where I initially went to school, and was placed into like a 3-day-a-week calculus class instead of the ones that met, say, for 5 days a week. Had a fabulous teacher. Filled in all the holes. He came in every day and talked about the Kansas City Royals. He was a big baseball fan, but just a wonderful math teacher. In between there, I had some time off eventually, and I came back and thought, I'm going to be a math teacher. Or not a math teacher. I'm going to do this math thing. I had done a lot of psychology, and started back again because it had been a few years, and now in Calculus 1. And I had Dr. Bob Holman. For those of you who were in the summer class, Jacob Holman was in there, and Dr. Bob Holman was his grandfather, and Jacob's dads and uncles were also math teachers. But Bob Holman was a fabulous math teacher. He was a great way to come back to math. I took history of math from him. I took proof and problem solving from him. So thinking about how do you solve proofs by contradiction and contrapositive and all kinds of, the logic pieces of mathematics as well. So he was wonderful. So I had really pretty good math experiences. Graduate school, that master's was pretty tough. There was a leap there. I remember taking topology, and that was, second semester was better than the first. Anyway, I had good experiences. Again, loved the statistics. I had a stats minor in my undergrad and also in my master's. And then just loved to teach that as well. Let's see. Challenges and successes. I probably talked a little bit about those. Like I said, in 8th grade, that was kind of tough. Topology, that was tough. I had to get over that hump in grad school. And then successes, I just was a good student overall for the most part. One of those pretty disciplined students who came home and did my homework and studied. And so I don't know. But like I said, I loved math, and I still like to sit down and do math. Like some of you said this summer, you're so happy to do some math problems in a graduate course. Sometimes it's also just a nice stress reliever to sit down and do some math problems to get ready to go teach a class, like when I would teach that, like a statistics course. Family members or friends. My mother was always considered the one who was good at math. My dad probably would have been fine at math, but he went to a pretty tiny rural school and always said he didn't have very good teachers. I don't know whether or not that's true, but it just was not a good experience for him. But my mom was really, really good at math and always helped me when I struggled, say in that first algebra class when I was in 8th grade. She was the go-to for the math problems. My dad actually was a teacher as well. He was a social studies teacher, and which is ironic as my son loves history. And my sister is a teacher as well. She's a director of special education at a district in Ohio. So I think all of them in some ways had some influence in terms of just education being really important, and they always made that known to me, especially I think my mom. But my dad was even taking grad classes all the time, thinking of lane changes as a teacher, had his master's plus 30. And then I think about teachers. There was teachers who were really important. Like I said, Dr. Bob was a really important teacher for, I think, many of us who were students here at Minot State. Dr. McCormick as well, he taught a lot of the statistics classes, and he would just get so excited about mathematics. And even some of the people I had in my grad program, Dr. Esty that I had, and Bozeman, I had him for probability. He was also just gets so excited. And so those people who had a lot of passion for what they did are the ones that I remember the most. Oh, what feels good or exciting about doing learning? Like I said, I love to do math. It feels fun to get that answer at the end. Over time, I've also gotten more interested in the applications of math. Some of us like to just learn to mimic what our teachers do and solve problems. But I also love to teach it. I love to help break that material down into something that maybe somebody who had struggled at math initially, all of a sudden it's like, I got a B in college algebra, and they're so excited. So that's a fun part of teaching math. And it's also fun to learn with your students. There's things I'm learning from them all the time, not just them learning from me. So I like to learn along with them, because sometimes I'm almost relearning material as I teach it, or I like to challenge myself to teach it differently or create new assignments as well. Scary, sometimes teaching, I remember the first time teaching that 400 level calc-based prob and stats class. I don't know that it was scary, but boy, did it take a lot of prep. I did not want to walk into that classroom and not know what I was doing. But there were moments, I must admit, when I would be standing at the board and things would become clear as I stood there and talked about it. I was like, oh, that's not always a good feeling while you're teaching the course. But sometimes something that was kind of half clear became far more crystal clear while I was doing it. I don't think I get scared doing it. There's times you might want to beat your head against a wall, trying to figure something out, especially in grad school as you were just doing proof after proof. But I just learned to work a lot more with others sometimes in those cases. What do I wish? Oh, I still wish there's so much math to know about. And I wish I knew more about some of the applications. I never took differential equations. I tried to sit in the class while I was in Bozeman, but because I wasn't doing it for a grade, I didn't do all the work I really needed to do, so therefore I didn't really learn it. So I'd love to go back and do that. I would love to teach Calculus 2. I never got to teach Calc 2 with all of the integrals and convergence and divergence and all of that. Yeah. Let's see, more statistics too. Gosh, if I had even more statistics background, and I wish I would have got a master's degree in statistics and gone on and done even more of that. Oh, how did I choose math? Well, because I enjoyed it. And I was pretty good at it. So I just kept doing it. So it's always way more fun to do something that you enjoy than it is to do something that you dislike. And even though I'm not doing math all the time, I think in some ways it's taught me persistence, it's taught me problem solving, it's taught me to be logical, to provide evidence for an argument. But all my other classes were really, really important too. My writing classes, my communication classes, my how do you get along and play nice with others. We didn't have that in a class, but you learned to do that. I probably should thank my parents most for that too. Any other experiences? Let's see. No, but I've learned a lot about teaching, and not just mathematics over the course of my career. When I was a grad student at UND, I can remember my very first day going to teach college algebra, and I was petrified. Being a kind of introverted, probably not overly confident at the time person, I told myself, I'm just going to get through the syllabus. I'm just going to get through the syllabus. And really, that's probably all I did the first day. And then the next day, I got way better. And then I sat through we had a guy come in from Minnesota to talk about cooperative learning. And I went to some workshops on a weekend about that. And that completely changed a lot of my teaching and got me working with students in different ways. So I've continued to try to challenge myself in that way. And even doing these grad classes, I had not kept up sometimes with some of the education literature. And so I had to, like in writing the trends class and building those or any of these, it forces me to go back and become familiar with the literature on teaching, say, calculus or statistics, or in general, some of the literature that's out there about teaching mathematics. So I've enjoyed doing that. It keeps me current. I continue to teach because it keeps me grounded. It's really powerful to watch all of you learn and then walk away from this kind of not a new teacher, but with additional tools, techniques, and additional knowledge about yourself. So that's a little bit about me and my autobiography or my math history. So welcome to the course. I'm excited to work with you.